Does this happen to you? I have a trash can in here, but what good is it? Because it keeps falling over. But I have an idea on how to solve this problem forever. I did it for my other car and it's been working great for 2 years. I've just not done it to this one yet. So let me show you how we can solve this problem with just a couple tools and a couple cable ties. Depending if you spend more of your time in the car driving solo, you don't need such a big container. But if you got a family and you're going on a road trip, you might as well go big. This is like a 2-gallon container. I'll post something down below along with all the materials I'm using. This is my X Factor Pew container, but it could also be used as a trash can. There's a couple key components that you want to have in any trash can that you're going to put in your car. I'm not a big fan of the lid. I looked online, tried to find something. I want something big that people can pitch things in, either behind the seat, if they're in a front seat, or if they're kids, they're going to hit the target. If you got one of those lids that's small like this, even if it's got a nice little X on it or whatever that you're pushing through, the trash isn't going to get in there. It has a better chance of this, but here's the problem. Tip over. So I've got a solution for that. By lowering the CG, the center of gravity of the trash can. And in the 2, maybe 3 years that we've been using this one, never tipped over. In all sorts of crazy up and down, going side to side around the mountains, things like that. Always stay straight. So you're never going to get the trash on the floor thing anymore. If you're interested in the X Factor, I'll post up there and down below where you can see this build. This would make a good trash can too if you just put some weight in the bottom. So let's go to a top-down shot and I'll get more into the details of this simple build. After deciding which size trash can you want, the tools and materials are a drill with a drill bit that's big enough to pass through, in this case, 8-inch cable ties. You could probably go with a smaller cable tie if you want. Some elastic shock cord. 2, I'm using the freezer bags because they're a little thicker plastic. And 2 pounds of sand. You can see I already have it in the bag. You could use rocks, but I found sand is just a lot more portable. And the reason why I do 2 bags is because you just want to make sure that it never comes out. And so I just put the opposite opening in there, flatten it out, try to take as much air out as possible. This is going to be your weighted base. If you had something like this, you might only have to go with a pound of sand. Maybe 2 or 3 sandwich bags for the 1 pound of sand. Small container or a big container, you want something that's kind of got a fairly good base on it. I like either a square or a circular container because it's going to give you a little more ability to avoid being knocked over. If you had a rectangular container, it might be okay here, but it might have a tendency to tip over on the longer side. And I want something that has kind of a lip to it. Here on the X Factor, it's got a nice little lip, and we're using rubber bands, 1-gallon bread bags. That works. And here we're using just these shopping bags that you get at stores, and some places you don't get them at the stores because they fit really well inside here. Some simple holes, maybe 1 centimeter down or 1/2 inch down, just like this. Doesn't take long in each of the corners. So you do that 4 times. Once you have your holes drilled, you're just going to feed the cable tie through like this. The little nub on the cable tie end is going to help you keep your strap in place. And this is a great tool I use for all sorts of things. What you want to do is take the sharp edge off of the cable tie. So the flush cutter does a good job of that. If you do a lot of things with cable ties, this cable tie cutter tool is well worth the investment. You just want that nub to be right there on the corner. Take your cable tie cutter, and this is the greatness of the tool. Just push it on like that, and then it makes it nice and flush. And once all 4 cable ties are in place, you take your shock cord. Now this is 1/8 inch. You wouldn't have to use that. You could use something probably a little thinner, but I want something that's going to last a long time. I have 35 inches. You want to have some tension on it, and I'm going to use a square knot here. Just fold it over once, and then you fold it over again. This to line up with this side, and this to line up with that side. Got a square knot. And that allows you to take this off and put your bags in place. And for some reason, if the stretch goes out on this, you can easily undo the square knot and just tighten it up. Another good reason why I like this stretch cord. Then you just take your weight, in this case 2 pounds, drop it in the bottom. And that's gonna keep your trash can from tipping over. I mean, I'm just going, look at this, almost 90 degrees back to it. And I just take my trash bags and I make sure there's no holes in them. I'll post down below another option where you can get these bags and buy them. They just changed the situation in our area, and we have to pay 5 cents a piece for these, which is kind of ridiculous, but that's a whole nother story. And then just put the elastic band around like this and put it in right where that, see where that nub is that you've made with the cable tie? Put it down like this. Now that's what keeps it in place. If for some reason you didn't have a lip on your trash can like this, you could just do another cable tie up here or down or below to give yourself some place to keep these bags where they need to be. Now you could totally skip this step if you wanted, but my experience is, especially with kids, that eventually this bag, without this elastic strap in there, these bags are just going to fall down in there and potentially get into a mess. So that's why I like the elastic. And it doesn't cost you much more to give you that bit of reassurance that you can control the mess inside the trash can. So there you go, a simple solution to a problem a lot of us have, where our trash cans flip over and make a mess in our cars, and nobody wants that to happen. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in all sorts of car and road trip designs and ideas, home repairs, making and breaking stuff, designs of all kinds, I do photography equipment designs and evaluations, sports gear equipment designs and evaluations. I even do costumes, cosplay, and props. Check out my channel and please subscribe, because you never know what crazy car solutions you might see. Depending if you're traveling solo or with a family, different options for containers. You have, depending if you're, let's just start over.